Hello, friend. Thank you so much for joining me over on YouTube. I just want to give you a quick heads up that the training that you're about to see was originally recorded via Facebook Live over on our Facebook page. If you like what you see and would like to learn more, make sure you join us over on Facebook for weekly tips and tricks to help you grow your direct sales business and work smarter, not harder. Let's dig in, you guys. Let's dig in, okay? Let's dig in because I have some thoughts about host coaching. I can tell that many of you are struggling with your host coaching. So we're going to dig into some reasons why it might not be working. And guys, I want you to hear me on this. This is going to be a super sassy one, just to warn you. If your host coaching isn't working and you aren't getting the party results that you want, then I need you to take time to evaluate it. All right. Don't just assume that every host is just bad. All right. That's literally impossible. It's statistically impossible. So you have to take the time to evaluate why your host coaching isn't working. And this could be all on you. I'm sorry to say it could be all on you. All right. And I know that's really hard to hear, but if almost every party isn't working, something's broken. Okay. Something's broken in how you're executing, right? It's not the host's fault. It's yours. So we have to figure out how to fix it. And I know that's really sassy, and I'm sorry to hit you guys with that right off the bat, but it's true. Okay. And I'm going to share with you some things that your host might want to say with you or to you to explain why your parties aren't working, but they're too nice or they're too timid or they're just not, they don't feel like saying those things to you, right? So I'm going to do it for them. And I want to warn you again, this might hurt some feelings and I might step on some toes today, but I really want to encourage you to take the time to be a little introspective. Take the time to be a little vulnerable with yourself. And if you have consistent problems with your host coaching, figure it out, because this is literally like how you make your money is by host coaching your host. Okay. All right. So the first thing that your host is not telling you, I have 6 things. I came up with 6 things that your hosts are afraid to say to you. You ready? So the first thing that she's afraid to tell you is that she's confused. Okay. She's confused. So confused people don't convert. This is something that I had a business coach tell me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. Confused people don't convert. And what that means is that when someone is confused, they will likely just walk away frustrated. When they're confused, like think about this. If you go to a website, right, and you're trying to purchase something, if the checkout is confusing, I'm just going to like close the window. I'm out, right? So something's confusing, they're just not going to take action. They will just shut down. And the best way to remedy this is to check your host coaching messages for clarity. So am I being clear? Are my instructions clear? Do they make sense? Here's a big one. Do they make sense to someone outside the business? That's a big one, friends. Okay. Do they make sense for hosts that aren't on Facebook or have never, used another party platform? Really look at your instructions. Am I being clear? Are the instructions concise or are they convoluted? Or there are lots of different things that I'm telling them to do. And I see this a lot in direct sellers where we're taking bits and pieces of other people's host coaching and we're kind of trying to like Frankenstein our host coaching process. And that's a problem because it's not clear, because you're trying to combine multiple people's different processes. So it comes across as confusing for your hostesses. Okay. So another thing to consider is, am I using industry lingo that my hostess is not going to understand? So something that, just a simple example, when we say stuff like outside orders, okay, I hear that a lot in the industry. Well, I want my host to collect outside orders. Does she even know what an outside order is? Is that an order like you take at your front door, in your yard, at the park? Like, what is that? Well, we mean outside the party is what we mean, right? So think about a different way to say that. A different way to say that would be your non-Facebook people or your people who can't make it to the party if it's a home party. Does that make sense? So something where we're explaining that and not using words that may be confusing. Okay. So really take a look at your host coaching and take the time. This is something else that I've seen recently, is we get so used to using the same thing over and over again that we don't actually take the time to evaluate it. And then when someone else comes in, we're like, I don't know what you're trying to say here, or this is weird. Then we actually take the time to look at it. So it's a good idea to reevaluate every now and then what in the world we're saying. Okay. Number two thing that she's not willing to tell you is that she's overwhelmed. So this is like kissing cousins with the confused host, okay? An overwhelmed host will also shut down. Think about what happens when you are overwhelmed. If it's a busy season of life, you got a lot of stuff going on. Okay, what do? We just like, I'm going to go binge watch Netflix and eat some popcorn, maybe eat some chocolate and drink a glass of wine, but I'm not I'm not going to do the things because I'm overwhelmed, right? You stop doing all the things. And so same thing with our hosts. If they're overwhelmed by too much information, because the information is not clear and concise and it's just too much, then they're going to shut down because they're overwhelmed. Okay. So ask yourself, am I giving her or him too much information? Because guys, let's be real for just 1 second. Hosting a party just is not that hard. It's just not. All right. When we really get down to the key things that our host needs to do, not that complicated, but we tend to overcomplicate it with too much instruction. Okay. All right. Okay, so number 3 that they don't want to tell you is they don't want to spam their friends. Okay, so if you have spammy or disingenuous tactics in your host coaching, your hosts are going to buck it. They're going to be like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to do it my way, which may not be the way that you want them to do it. So they don't want to spam their friends and friends, whether we like it or not, we're already dealing with and we're already working to overcome the common stigma with direct sellers of being spammy and pushy. So we definitely don't want our hosts to feel like that. Don't ask them to do something that you also wouldn't want to do or you wouldn't want done to you. Okay. So they want to keep their friends after the party. Okay. So don't ask them to do things that are spammy or pushy. Okay. Number 4, they want to feel valued. Okay, they want to feel valued. And I know many of you are doing multiple parties per week. And friends, I'm not mad at you. I did multiple parties per week. But your hosts don't have to feel like they are just another number. And sometimes in an effort to systemize and streamline our host coaching, we can make them feel like they're just part of like a cog. They're just a cog in the machine. Like that's all they are. And we don't value them. We don't build relationships with them. Guys, take the time to get to know them. Take the time to build those relationships because I promise you, long term, those are going to be the people that are your champions in the business, and they're going to be repeat hostesses. They're going to refer people to you. So take that time to get to know them. I remember my hostesses. We had so much fun. And so I remember I would be talking to a past host, like placing their order, and we'd be catching up on our kids and our family. Like we had these relationships. I still have relationships with some of my past hostesses, which is kind of crazy, right? Because we had such a great relationship in the business. Okay. And I made them feel valued. So another thing you can do, we talked about this in our 4-week fix today, is send them a little love. Like do something special for your hostesses. We have a blog post about it, but I love to send happy mail, guys. Happy mail is one of my favorite things. And it's super simple and a nice thing to do. It could just be a thank you card. It could be something very, very simple. So they just want to feel valued and heard. Okay. Number 5, they have questions, but they're afraid to ask them. Okay, they're afraid to ask them. And why is that? So at the core of this one is, do your hosts really feel like they know you? Do they feel like they can trust you to answer their questions? Are you approachable? Are you approachable? Are you professional? Can you answer their questions? Okay, so one thing you can do is reassure your host that if they have questions, they can ask, right? And don't come across as snarky if they have a question that you've already answered, all right? I am a huge believer in over communicating. Okay. I say things over and over and over again because I know someone's going to ask the question. I know the question has been asked in the past. So I'm a huge believer in your host coaching and in everything we do here. We over communicate. We remind, yes, you have access to this. Yes, you can come back and check this out. Like we do that over and over, not to be annoying, but to make sure that those questions are getting answered. Okay. That's all. All right. So something to think about is if you're having hostesses who are, if your host coaching isn't working, okay, if you're having the same questions, right, then the instructions may not be clear. If you're having them come back and say, I don't know how to do this, or I don't know how to do that, or how do I do that? Your instructions probably aren't clear. That's not them. Okay. Especially if it's multiple hostesses. So it should be a signal that something isn't working and you need to fix it. This is not all the hostesses being dumb or all the hostesses doing the wrong things. That's not what that is. That is, my instructions aren't clear and I need to fix my instructions. Okay. So this is like a signal for us. If we get a question multiple times, we're like, we don't have enough reminders about that. We don't have enough information in multiple places. We need to fix that. Does that make sense? So I want to make sure that we've got the questions, we are being proactive about the questions, but also, make it to where we're approachable. If you do have a question, you can come and we're going to give you the answer. We're going to give you the place to go find it. Okay. And number 6, and this is one, guys, listen, hear me on this one. Number 6, they are thinking about the business. Okay. They're afraid to tell you that, but they are thinking about the business. All right. And here's how I know that. Okay. They may not be jumping up and down, all right, saying, I want to join your team, pick me, right? But they are already hosting a party, which means they are already interested, okay? They are that much closer to being a team member. Even if they don't decide to join your team or they decide that the business opportunity isn't for them, that has gone through their head. Trust me, okay? Trust me, it has gone through their head. So make sure that you are having business opportunity conversations with them. Seriously, even if it's only a fleeting thought, they have thought about it, but you as the direct seller, you need to be the one that opens up the conversation, and you need to open it up multiple times because they didn't book a party thinking they were going to start a business, right? So we need to make sure, even if they have said, man, I'm busy, blah, blah, blah. Like we still need to keep planting those seeds and encouraging them. But you need to start the conversations. Okay. You need to start the conversations. Trust me. If you will just begin starting those conversations with your hosts, those recruiting conversations, your team's going to grow. Okay. Those are like hot leads, guys. They're like really hot leads for the business. And you need to be the one. Don't wait for them to jump up and down and yell, because again, they may be confused. They may not really know like how to ask you or how to even bring it up. Listen, I did not bring it up. I'll just tell you guys a little secret. Okay. So I wanted to try the business for, it was well over a year, and I didn't say a word. Okay. So you guys, they're thinking about it. You got to be the one to say something. Okay. So Pinky promised me that as part of your host coaching conversations, you're going to at least bring up the business. Okay. It takes a little practice to get comfortable with it, but at least bring it up. Okay. Because they're already thinking about it. Okay. So let's review. So number 1, your hosts are confused. Could be, right? So let's make sure our instructions are clear, concise. They're not confusing. Overwhelmed. Too much information. Keep it as simple as possible, because let's be real, hosting a party isn't that complicated. There's only a few things that they have to do. They don't want to spam their friends because they would like to keep those relationships after the party. Don't give them spammy or disingenuous tactics. They want to feel valued. Whether you have 7 parties this week or not, they don't want to feel like 1 out of the 7. Okay, they want to feel like they're your only host for the week. And they want to feel valued along with that, guys. They really want to feel valued. They have questions, but they're afraid to ask them. So are you coming across as the expert? Are you coming across as professional that they can approach you and ask questions? And then they are thinking about the business, but they are so nervous and they don't want to ask you about it. So make sure that you are starting the conversation so that you can actually get the ball rolling. Okay. All right, friends. Have a fabulous rest of your Wednesday. It was short and sweet today, but have a fabulous rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.